Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. This morning, Jason and I are super motivated to get this massive pile of mulch spread out. So we moved into this property last year around August, and we really didn't start gardening until about September, October. And one of the first things that we noticed about this property and this soil is that it was lacking, definitely lacking. It was so dry, it was cracking. It looked like a desert. It was extremely compacted. It was so hard to dig into. I was using a digging stick to try and get into it, and that wasn't even working. And it just hadn't been touched for years. So since I was starting fresh, since this was a brand new garden for me, I decided that I wanted to do it right. I decided that I wanted to go with the no-till method. So as Jim Putnam so eloquently puts it, tilling is killing. So basically when you till your soil, when you turn that soil over, you're exposing all the living microorganisms to the air, to the sunlight, to the heat, and you're basically killing all of them. And there are so many, there's so much life in the soil, even really bad soil like I have, there's so much life in it, and it's so important to keep that life going for the health of your soil. So I made the decision to do the no-till method here in this garden. I started off with weed whacking and mowing all the weeds that I had here to within an inch of their life, as short as I could possibly do it. And then after that, I laid down a layer of cardboard, and the cardboard is meant to suppress those weeds. It's not meant to kill those weeds. It will, it will kill some of them, but it's just meant to slow down the growth of those weeds so that you can kind of get ahead of it. So after you put down the cardboard, then you put down 6 inches of compost. And this is key because compost is organic matter. And with soil, you basically can never add enough organic matter. You should just keep adding and adding and adding. And the more you add, the healthier your soil will be. And then you add mulch. Mulch or wood chips is super important for the no-till method for a couple reasons. One of them is that it insulates the soil, it insulates that compost, it insulates that life that you have from getting too hot in the summer and too cold in the winter. And that's going to make sure that that life stay alive, whether it's microorganisms or earthworms or bugs. You don't want those guys to get too hot or too cold. Mulch also will prevent too much evaporation of that precious water that we want in our garden. So when it rains, if you don't have any mulch on it, it will evaporate very quickly on the next hot day. Or if I add supplemental water to my garden, if you don't have mulch, it's going to evaporate super quickly. Just by adding a couple inches of mulch, and what I use is I use arborist wood chips, you are preventing the soil from getting too hot, the soil from getting too cold, and the soil from drying out too quickly. So even if you have incredibly dry, horrible soil to start with, if you just add wood chips, if you just add a couple inches of mulch, that's going to keep whatever water comes along in your soil. It's going to allow it to soak in, and it's going to make all the difference in the world. So in addition to insulating the soil and preventing evaporation, wood chips also add organic matter to your soil. So the wood chips break down, there's a whole bunch of microbes, and then just the normal wear and tear and weathering of these wood chips may break down into more organic matter, and that mixes in with your soil and actually lightens your soil up. So if you have super compacted soil, breaking down of wood chips is going to make a huge difference as well. It was kind of a leap of faith for me to do the no-till method because I had never done it before, but I had heard of it. I had seen it on videos, I had read about it, and also when I was in my Master Gardener's training, they actually highly encouraged it. They actually had a whole bunch of demonstrations that basically showed the difference between tilled soil and non-tilled soil. I remember one demonstration, I think it's called the slake test or the slake demonstration. Basically what it showed was the water infiltration or the water absorption in tilled soil versus non-tilled soil. And so it basically had 2 tubes with some tilled soil and some non-tilled soil, and then they put that in water. And the non-tilled soil, like a sponge, immediately soaked up the water into the soil where the roots and everything would be. The tilled soil actually just broke apart. It acted almost like a barrier. It didn't absorb any of the water. It just kind of broke apart. And what that was showing was that when you till your soil, it doesn't actually absorb any water. And that's when you get what's called runoff, which is where the water just runs off into the street, driveways, streams, rivers, whatever. And that is not what you want. You want all that precious water to stay in your soil. So I made the decision to go for it, and let me tell you, the no-till method did not disappoint. The areas in my garden that I added compost and cardboard and wood chips are seriously some of the best soil I've seen. When I dig down past the compost layer and I get to the native soil, it's rich, it has earthworms, it has life, and it hasn't even been a full year. Now, you all know me, I am not judgmental. There's so many different ways to garden. I don't want to come on here and say, oh, tilling is bad. You're a bad gardener if you till. Absolutely not. If you want to till, and if that makes it easier for you, then by all means, go for it. My goal of talking about the no-till method so much is because I want to show you all my experience with it. And I am so happy with the results. I just want to let everybody know. I want to shout it from the top of my mulch pile how much I really, really enjoy the no-till method. And I kind of wish I had that information last year when I was deciding to do this, because it's just made such a huge difference for me. So an important component of the no-till method is to continually add wood chips to the top of your soil. So you want those wood chips, like I said, to keep breaking down and incorporating into the soil. And at the same time, you want to continually add more to keep that mulch layer for insulation and limiting evaporation. So usually you only need to add a new layer maybe once a year, maybe every 2 years. But since my garden is so new and I'm continually planting in it and basically messing with it, I'm actually on my 2nd layer this year. Our 1st layer I don't think was thick enough anyway. So I'm on my 2nd layer. If I were to purchase wood chips, like if I had to pay for this mulch, oh my goodness, it would be so much money. And so that's one of the reasons, you know, I've talked about this a million times. That's one of the reasons that I use Get Chip Drop, which is free wood chips from arborists. And that just makes it so cheap and so easy for me to do the no-till method. So long story short, I know I'm going on and on about the no-till method. I apologize. Jason and I are finally going to get this huge pile of wood chips spread out into the orchard garden, and we are going to use these big wheel carts from Rubbermaid Commercial Products. They offered to send them out to us, and since we've been through multiple wheelbarrows since moving here last year, and I'm talking multiple, we've broken all of them, we said absolutely yes, please send these out. A lot of you talk about these and swear by these. I even remember one of you came to the Proven Winners pop-up event and brought yours and was talking about how much you love it. So thank you for that recommendation. I am really excited. We've been using these for about the past month and they are great. So one of the reasons why we are liking these big wheel carts is that they're one piece. They're made out of one piece of this plastic, and it's like heavy duty plastic. What was breaking on all the other wheelbarrows we used was this part right here, the stand. Basically, we were putting so much weight into our wheelbarrows that they would start bending at the legs and at the tires. I guess you call it the axle. And that would be the part that would break all the time. So this is supposed to be able to handle way more weight than a normal wheelbarrow. And so far, since we've been using it, it's been working really, really well. So the other great thing about the big wheel cart is the wheels. They're massive, they're huge, but it's going to make it way easier to roll over all our mulch and all our uneven surface. and they're not going to go flat after basically one day of heavy use, which is what would happen with a lot of the wheelbarrows and other carts that we've been using. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm tired of replacing wheels. So now it is going to get up to, I think it's, what is it, babe? 108 degrees? 109 degrees today. We've been in a massive heat wave. So Jason and I have decided, it's about 6 a.m. right now. We've decided we are going to work until 10 a.m. and then that's it. We're cut off. I mean, we both do the same thing. We get super into the job. We're like almost done. And we're like, oh, just another hour. Yeah, and then we end up with almost heat stroke. So we're cutting ourselves off at 10. Hopefully we can get most of this spread out. I think using the big wheel carts is going to make it a lot easier for us. But if we don't finish, it's because of the heat. So anyway, let's get on it.
Dusty.
I know. And I'm sweating non-stop, so the dust is sticking to me.
That's fun.
Are you not sweating?
Oh, I'm sweating. Sweating a lot.
Should we get the girls out here?
That's torture.
How long do you think they'll last?
Like 3 minutes.
I know. Teaching a good work ethic. So this was, what, Deodar Cedar? Do you remember what else it was?
No, I remember Deodar Cedar.
I remember cedar. It looks like there's almond.
Yeah, there's something else.
It's got that orangey almond look. Okay, everyone, we
Are done.
are done. It is only 9 o'clock and we have made the executive decision to stop because we are both sweating like crazy and tired and done. And I don't want to push ourselves with this temperature, right?
Yeah. We did a lot.
We did a lot. It was a lot dustier than I had planned, so I am completely covered in dust. You too.
Yep.
It is supposed to cool down in a couple days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. It's going to be, what, 98, 99?
Yeah, 99 degrees.
Nice and a nice cool 99.
Which is fabulous. So we'll probably get a lot more of this done. I would say we probably got like halfway done. Let me take a break, drink some more water, and then I'll grab the camera and I'll show you all how far we actually got. Okay, so this is where we're at after about 2.5 hours, I would say. I think we probably got like half, maybe a little bit more than half. Is that what you would say?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the pile is significantly shorter than it was, and it's also smaller than it was. So I think we did pretty good. So at first we were putting piles kind of just everywhere and spreading them out. And then we decided we had to be a little bit more, organized, methodical, yeah, methodical about it. So we decided to start from here and make our way all the way down this side of the pathway and then start coming back. And so I'll show you how far we got. So we've got all of this covered with mulch, nothing over here on this side. So all of this covered with mulch. It looks really good. Big, thick layer. Jason was taking the shovel. It was really hard to get the big wheel in there, so he was just shoveling the mulch into that way, which covered that area. We got all in between these plants, which it would have been much easier to do this when they were smaller, but we just didn't get around to it. The big place that really needed it was this garden bed. This is the garden bed that got decimated by the gophers. And so we lost a whole bunch of artichokes and cardoon plants here. The lavenders are still here, so we just kind of covered everything up. And I will figure out what to do with this bed later. This bed too, you can see I have another gopher mound right there. This is a gopher trap and they have not touched it. So I think we're gonna get professionals in here. Anyway, so even more along this way, past the cobalt blue Superbena, all the way around here, all the way around here, all the way around here. We still need to get this area kind of a little bit all the way around the berm. You can see the berm doesn't look as intensely high because we kind of covered, like, decreased the slope with some mulch. And then Jason even started kind of over here underneath the walnut tree and bringing it. Where did you get to, Jason? Like here? Is this where? Yeah, about here. Got you about here, right?
Yeah, that's it. None of this is done.
Yeah, but I did put a pile right here.
Yeah, I did spread that one out.
Yeah, so I just put a random pile right there, and that was before we started being more organized. All right, so I think that's going to be it for today. I am out of breath and tired, if you can't tell. Tired, hot, and out of breath, and it's only 9:30.
Yeah,
so
I have dust in my nose and my ears.
So we're going to call it. Everyone, be careful out there in the sun and in the heat. Don't do what we do. Well, we're being responsible.
No, we're doing
yeah,
it.
we're stopping at 9:30, and it's probably only...
It's not even 80 degrees yet.
Yeah.
We're just tired.
We're just tired and hot. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.